Ferguson will be 37 in February. Charles Oliveira is 31. Ferguson taller by an inch. He will have a 2.5-inch reach advantage. All right, now to get you started for the co-main event, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the co-main event of the evening. This fight is 3 rounds in the UFC lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter holding a professional record, 29 wins, 8 losses, 1 no contest. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 154 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, by way of Sao Paulo, Brazil, presenting the number 7 ranked lightweight contender in the world, Charles "The Bronx" Oliveira! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter holding a professional record, 26 wins, 4 losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of Orange County, California, presenting the former interim UFC lightweight champion and the number 3 ranked lightweight contender in the world, Tony El Cucuy Ferguson! And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Mark Smith.
The classy Mark Smith, third man in the octagon for this one. Also classy Brooklyn Wren. Thank you, Brooklyn. El Cucuy, Tony Ferguson, back on the proving ground
ready?
tonight.
Tony, ready? Fight's on.
This fight clock is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Charles Oliveira, center of the octagon in gold. Tony Ferguson is in the gray, we'll call it white.
And I know it takes a lot to replicate what Justin Gaethje did to Tony Ferguson, but it seems like the blueprint was out there, right? It's those types of kicks to slow him down and then try to beat him up with a jab, but you will not discourage Tony Ferguson.
Nice jab by Tony, now he retreats.
Tony has such an unusual style where he switches stances and punches at the same time. Charles Oliveira, though, again, as I was saying before, he's never out of line. Look at his positioning and where he stands. He's always got a good angle. He's just so technically proficient in stand-up and on the ground.
And that's a little bit of the danger if you're Ferguson, right? Whenever you're being unorthodox, random kicks, you can't leave yourself out of position. Oh, nice check hook by Tony.
Oh, it looked like an uppercut, and then a left hand from Ferguson landed.
Oliveira is very aggressive early in this fight.
You saw that uppercut land against Gaethje by Ferguson. He's got a great uppercut. Hits real hard.
Cyberpunk 2077 available now on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Stadia. Rated M for mature, and a big takedown for Oliveira.
Look at that.
Literally just picked him up.
Slammed him.
Charles Oliveira just got to a body lock and slammed Tony Ferguson on his back.
You never see that.
No, with his wrestling background and his ability, you never see people do that to Tony. And now Charles looks like he's going to the mount.
And he was looking for a guillotine as well. But now Tony is on his back with one butterfly.
And I was thinking this in the build to the fight.
Let's go, guys. Work.
Is this
Work.
where Charles Oliveira is going to try to rest if it goes sideways for him a little bit
Watch the eyes.
in the
Careful
stand-up
the
with
eyes,
Tony
Charles.
Ferguson? But there's no rest here if you're Charles Oliveira. Tony's dangerous off of his back. Very dangerous.
Oliveira playing with fire a little bit with those fingers close to the eyes. Lands a shoulder strike there.
Oliveira is very, very well prepared. Oh, look at that elbow. Very well prepared on the ground. His ground game is outstanding.
Oh,
look at that.
Good as
look at that transition.
Oh, and look, he's going to get the back
transition.
here. Look at him use his left foot to hold Tony from rolling to his belly, and now he's in the full mount. And watch him start to attack the arm triangle.
I mean, if he could submit Tony Ferguson, what a feather in his cap that would be.
I mean, this dude wins 8 fights in a row and beats Tony Ferguson. If he can do that,
he has the most submissions in UFC history.
Yeah, and then you're looking to see who should fight for a title.
Yeah.
Might
this
be
is
time
the
to
guy.
go down to Houston.
Yeah. This guy's something, man. I mean, just what you're seeing so far. Who does this to Tony?
We've never seen this. We've
I
never
mean,
seen somebody take
Kevin
points
Lee
early.
mounted him and had him on his back.
Early.
Yeah,
but-
this is different.
But that's the
way
thing,
he's-
right, Joe?
he's
That's
doing
the
it.
thing, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Like, if you can do this to Tony early, but he will make adjustments.
Yes.
And he will continue to fight. And if you're not careful, you'll be in trouble. Now, Tony needs to start pushing at the hips, start trying to get the hips of Oliveira up, but it's hard because he's grapevining the legs, right? So Tony can't even bridge into it. Tony's got to just start trying to create action to try to clear a hip, get back to half guard, do something to get Oliveira from this comfortable position.
You know, as we've seen Oliveira in the more than a decade inside the octagon and see him grow and mature, we've seen a complete game develop. I mean, he has everything. You see his takedowns. You see his incredible top game. He submits guys off of his back. I mean, this kid is really becoming something special. We saw that in the Kevin Lee fight. You want to talk about a comparison? Dominated Kevin Lee and submitted him.
Yeah.
Look at us doing it, Tony Ferguson. Look at this incredible mount.
Well, he's doing a great job of grapevining the legs there. But Tony's very aware of that arm triangle. You see when he starts to try to isolate it with the head, Tony just brings it right back to his hips, try to keep his arms short. We talk about guys that we see grow up in the UFC. There's no truer point than Charles Oliveira.
Yes.
You know, him and like Max Holloway,
Yes.
those guys that start so young and then fight their whole career here. I mean, 20 years old when he made his UFC debut. It's crazy.
But he is on another level right now.
Oh, today, yeah.
Yeah, completely in his prime and just smoothly controlling one of the best grapplers in the sport here. I mean, when we talked about Khabib fighting Tony, the thing that was interesting was Tony fights so well off of his back.
Yep.
Look at what's
Oh,
happening
arm.
here. Look
Oh,
what's
my
happening
goodness.
here.
Oh, he's got him hurt. That's in deep.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my
goodness. Oh, my goodness.
He might have broken his arm.
Oh, I couldn't even watch it, Joe. I was looking away.
He might have broken his arm. I mean, we don't know what happened.
Charles.
Did you watch it?
He's shaking it. He's shaking it.
Joe,
But,
did
I
you
mean,
watch it?
It hyperextended. At
But
the
did you
very
watch it?
Yes.
Or did you turn away?
No, I looked.
I turned away. I turned away.
I looked, but at the very least, he hyperextended that arm very, very
Just
badly.
warming up, bro.
Hey, Joe, but if you're Tony Ferguson, you're very aware of going back to the ground with this young man
Yeah.
now.
Yes.
I mean, that was a quick transition to the arm.
Very wary, very wary. And we don't know how badly that elbow is hurt right now. Let's take a look. Look at this. He knows the end of the round. He knows it's short time. So look at, he hits this. And look at this adjustment. He's got it fully locked in.
Oh.
Tony refuses to tap, so he tucks it under the arm. Watch how he
Oh,
tucks it
man.
under the arm. Let's take a look at it again. He's going for it. He's got it fully locked out, but then watch when he tucks it under his left arm.
Oh, Joe.
Look at this. Watch this. Here it goes.
He's
Here it goes.
twisting the wrist and everything.
Look at
right?
this. Look at this.
Oh, he's
right
about to break
there.
his
Look
arm.
at that angle.
Joe, that's bad.
All right, guys,
He's
second
still
round. Fights
shaking
on.
that left arm off. We don't know. Tony will never tell you.
No, he
He'll
won't.
fight with that broken arm.
If you're Oliveira, you're blasting kicks to the body here, trying to kick
Yes.
on that arm.
Yeah, keep an eye on the left arm of Tony Ferguson. See if he even throws a shot with it.
And then he's fighting in the southpaw stance, so it
Yes.
opens up the body kick for Oliveira.
Yeah, that arm might be toast right now.
I mean, that was a dominant round there by Oliveira.
As dominant as it gets. Oh, yeah, his arm's done. His arm's done. Look at it. See?
Can't even throw that
He's
thing.
not even throwing it.
Oh.
That left arm is cooked.
We've seen Tony deal with a lot of adversity over the course of his career, though.
Oh, his mind is
So if
bulletproof.
there's a guy that
Yeah.
can really stay in a fight, it's Tony Ferguson. But man, he is behind this young man right now.
Oliveira was dominating him on the feet as well, though, which is what's crazy.
And now he takes him down again.
Ferguson has thrown a couple of left elbows with that arm.
Tony's got to go to his offense here, because the more Oliveira gains control, the worse it gets for him. He's got him stacked up now.
Somebody's bleeding. I think it's
Careful, he's gonna
Charles.
Stop. He's grounded.
Illegal
Stop.
upkick.
Time.
Oh, man.
The cut was open prior, but Charles
Go right
Oliveira
there,
was
Tony.
a
Go right
grounded
there.
opponent.
Doc, I want
That's
you
on
to
the
come up
eye.
and look at his cut. I know.
That was not from the kick.
Not the cut, just his cohesiveness from the kick to the head from being grounded.
You know where you are? I'm sorry. Oh, it's okay.
Let's
He's
take a
good.
look at the shot again.
He's good. Up. Tony,
Interesting.
let me get you set,
Wait a
and
minute.
then I'll start.
Let's look at that knee.
his guard.
Look at that right knee. Hold on a second. Go back to that. It looked to me like that right knee was off
Both
the
fighters
ground.
ready? Time
Let's
in.
look at that again.
Fight!
From the same angle that we saw it previous, it looked to me like that right knee was off the ground, which would indicate that it was
Toes
not
out
a
the cage,
grounded
Tony.
opponent.
Well, it was an elbow
Toes
from
out the
Ferguson that caused the cut, so Charles Oliveira was given a few minutes to get his wits about him, and we continue here midway through round 2.
Tony's just got to be very careful. Oh, man. He's got to be very careful here in trying to explode out of these positions because Oliveira is just controlling so well from the top. Ferguson's going to try to wall walk here, walk his feet back over the top.
So it was a perfectly placed standing elbow from Tony Ferguson that cut Charles Oliveira open.
Look at Oliveira just beating Tony Ferguson up. Who does this?
We've
Who
not
does
seen this.
Who
We have
does
not
this?
seen anyone do this.
No one does this on the ground with Tony Ferguson. This is incredible.
He just seems so aware of all the positions. He's controlling the hips. He's not allowing Tony to create chaos to get away from him. He's stacking him up. It's just in complete control right now.
Yeah, just incredible technical proficiency. And we're looking at a young contender coming into his prime. That's what's happened. And what a spectacular performance so far by Charles Oliveira.
And a nice knee there to the body a moment ago from Du Bronx.
And again, you know, we spoke about this earlier, Joe. Like, Charles Oliveira in these big moments at 145 would struggle. And he's not struggling here against the toughest contender there's been at 155 for a really long time.
Yeah, I mean, the Justin Gaethje fight was the most struggle that Tony had been in a long time, right? But he hurt Justin in that fight. It was a competitive fight standing.
Yeah.
This is not competitive.
Tony's trying to roll back now, attack the leg.
This is a fighter coming into his own, and that's what we're seeing out of Charles Oliveira right now. We're seeing the fully realized potential of one of the most exciting guys in this division.
I mean, this is...
Incredible.
Tony has got to try to get up. He has got to try to force the weight of Du Bronx off of him to get up, create space to try to get back to his feet. But it seems like Charles is just so aware of everything he's doing.
So aware and so good at controlling him. I mean, he's always in the right position. That's what I was saying about his skill set. He's so technical. He doesn't do anything wrong. He doesn't muscle anything. Everything he does with perfect position.
It's just what do you do if you're Ferguson here? You know, you've been a bit behind on the stand-up. You've been beat on the ground. Mark Smith keeps telling him to take his toes out of the fence. It's like there just doesn't seem to be a place for him to find any solace.
Well, there's a potential submission here. There's a potential submission here. What Tony's doing here, Charles Oliveira's in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah.
The way he's got his hands clasped together, and he's essentially like trying to triangle him with
his
an
arms.
arm in.
Yeah.
But Oliveira's got
look at
some
all that
space.
space there, yeah.
Also, you got to realize Tony's left arm is jacked, and
Watch the back of the hand.
Oliveira's been beating him up for 2 rounds now. But there is a potential submission there that some guys can hit. Ideally, he would like to be more clockwise, have his head more towards the outside of Oliveira's left armpit, but at least he's protecting himself here. The way he's utilizing it.
Up easy.
A dominant
Up easy,
grappling
up
round
easy.
for Charles Oliveira. Ferguson likely needs a finish in round 3.
Here's that cut, and it comes from Tony Ferguson's elbow as he was defending the takedown. Now, here's the foul. Take a look at this. Look at the right knee specifically. Watch the right knee. See, watch, here comes the up kick. Wait for it. Kicks.
Oh, it's down right there, yeah.
Yeah, but was it down right
On the
See,
backside.
but look at the
yeah,
space.
It was down on the backside by the fence.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Let's
can
see it
see
again. Ooh,
I mean,
look at
nice
that.
knee to the body.
Nasty knee to the body.
Joe, he's just like in control. I mean,
But you can see how Tony would not have known that he
Remember,
was there.
volume, T. Volume. That's you, brother. Volume. You don't got to hit hard everything. Just touch him up.
Look for that 6, Tony. Look for that 6. 6 is open.
He's already cut.
Round 3 is brought to you by P3, the
Third round,
official
Tony.
protein snack
Just be careful.
of the UFC.
Wait for me. Wait for me. Wait for me.
Well, Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor have a date in about 40 days.
All right, guys, third round. Fight.
But tonight's winner is going to factor prominently into lightweight contention. Charles Oliveira and Tony Ferguson. Round 3 is upon us. Nice land for Ferguson early.
yeah, Tony's got to get a lot of volume going like his coaches asked for. Just volume. Volume's going to be what gets him back into this fight.
But it's hard to even get off volume. He throws a kick. Oliveira checks it. I mean, Oliveira's, look at that beautiful low kick. Oliveira's technical proficiency in his stand-up is parallel with his technical proficiency on the ground.
Tony's going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat, man.
Shape your legend in EA Sports UFC 4. Get up to 50% off for a limited time on Xbox One and PS4.
And if Tony Ferguson can't change this or win this round, it'll be 8 straight rounds where he's been getting beat up by these guys, you know? He's got, you know, that's never good to see as a guy starts to get a little older. I mean, look at Oliveira.
Look at that. Right in the mount. Almost got caught up in that left or right butterfly. But just what control.
Joe, it's just something that we are not used to seeing. You know,
No.
we're not used to seeing Tony Ferguson get beat like this. We saw Justin Gaethje beat him up in May, and you know, you don't know what happened as a guy returns to the octagon. But Charles Oliveira is putting on a phenomenal performance. I mean, he looks
it's
fantastic.
I don't think we can attribute this to Tony Ferguson's decline.
No, I think this guy's just good.
He's just very, very good. But this is the thing. We always wanted to see how Tony would face Khabib because he's so good off of his back.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem
but
like
man,
it
it's
would've
just been shut down by Oliveira. Look at that.
Right
Come on.
That's beautiful. Hey, look at him move Tony's head back towards the fence.
Yeah, I mean, that is.
Because in round 1, he realized how easy it was for him to control Tony there.
Yeah.
So he went back there.
Look at even this. Look at this. Right into the triangle.
Triangle.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Locked up.
Oh my goodness.
Locked up. Locked. Just fully locked up. He's going to take that arm again.
Oh my God.
goodness.
Tony's
Oh
out.
my goodness. How good is this guy? How good is this guy? To do that to Tony Ferguson?
I mean, but Joe, John, come on. Tony Ferguson ain't giving up. Tony Ferguson's going to keep fighting as he got out of that. Most fighters would have been toast.
Yes.
This will not be the first time we acknowledge the physical and mental toughness of Tony Ferguson. But
One of the
he
toughest humans that's ever
has
lived.
gotten all he can handle tonight from Charles.
But Oliveira is really something special. We've known that for a while, but I think more special now than ever before. And under the pressure of this big fight, facing a guy in Tony Ferguson that's one of the top contenders and a guy who's easily possibly in line for a shot at the title. When you look at Conor and Dustin Poirier and Gaethje, Tony Ferguson's in the argument there, right?
Yeah.
But man, look at this. Went for a Darce. Still trying to fight off of his back.
But we talked about this in May, John, when we were out in Jacksonville. We watched Tony take it bad from Justin Gaethje and never give up on himself.
Never.
You never would have thought that, regardless of the way this fight would start out, Tony would ever give up on himself. But to this point, he has not had anything for Charles Oliveira.
That's all it is. It's not a matter of Tony giving up. It's a matter of Charles Oliveira being too
That much
good.
better. Yeah. And Anik, you got to think, right? When this guy, Charles Oliveira, earlier, when you were calling a lot of the fight nights, you would see Oliveira and the evolution of his game. So you've got to have a front side seat to who he was in the beginning opposed to who he is today, right?
Look at that, though. Tony, wow. Tony managed to sneak out the back door and get on top and immediately slammed back into position. Just full domination by Oliveira.
Less than a minute now to go, and Charles has not taken any breathers. He's only been warned a couple times for more activity from Mark Smith. There's another one. And you always get the sense with Tony, he could always be one win away from breaking through to the undisputed title picture, but Charles Oliveira got that win over Kevin Lee in Brasilia in March. And back on the horse tonight in a big way, waning seconds here.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, you beat Tony Ferguson after beating Kevin Lee. You know, those are two guys that fought for the interim championship.
It's the way he's doing it, though, that's so insane. It's not just beating him, it's completely dominating him. Look at this. I mean, dominating him on the ground, dominating him standing up.
So Charles Oliveira trying to go to 9-1 since returning to 155 pounds. Late elbow there from Ferguson. But Charles do Bronx Oliveira, proving to be too much tonight. Will 8 be enough to earn him his first crack at the elusive UFC lightweight title? We shall see.
J.A., I think Tony Ferguson understood that he had a tough challenge in front of him tonight, but he never could have imagined that Duke Bronx would show up like that.
Amazing. I mean, we've known that this kid is special for a while, and you know, amazing performance in the Kevin Lee fight, right? We thought, like, wow, this kid's so technical on his feet, submits Kevin Lee on the ground, but I think he just keeps getting better. I think that's what we're seeing. He just keeps getting better.
He is. I mean, this is crazy. And he's 31 years old.
Yeah.
Right? He's still just entering his prime.
And this fight came together just 3 weeks ago. A lot of mutual respect there at the end of the fight, DC.
I mean, you see early in the fight, Oliveira hits that beautiful outside kick. Look at this. Just picks him up and slams him. I mean, to be able to do that to Tony Ferguson is crazy. This smooth transition to the armbar at the end of round 1 had me closing my eyes.
Watch this. Watch when he puts it behind the armpit. That's what really freaks me out.
Rogan weirdly likes to watch it. He's sick. He's a sick individual.
Watch this. Watch this. Look at this. Come on.
Oh.
You don't get any more hyperextended than that.
No, you don't.
It's the opposite elbow.
Look at it. You can see it almost sticking out.
So nasty.
Big knee to the body. I mean, just aware, right? Knowing what he can do. Gets to the double leg. Swings Tony off the fence so that he gets him away from the side of the octagon so he can't get up and escape. Back into the mount.
I have a suspicion that after the fight, when we get the injury report, we're going to find out how tough Tony Ferguson really is.
Look at this transition.
Look at this amazing transition to the triangle.
Into the triangle choke.
And it just shows you how badass Tony is that he got out of this.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, when we hear these scores, we're not going to hear 30-27 across the board. There has to be a 10-8 round in there some way because he dominated every facet of this fight.
Yeah. I mean, it could be all 10-8 rounds, honestly. We could easily see 3 10-8 rounds.
All right, the official decision is brought to you by Guaranteed Rate. You could save massive money on your mortgage with the incredibly low rates from Guaranteed Rate. Act now by visiting rate.com. With the scorecards now, here's Bruce.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score this contest 30-26 for the winner. By unanimous decision, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira.
Charles Oliveira wants the belt, hard to blame.